This week, we've been focused on education. You've learned 2 texts so far. One is from the Talmud, from the Gemara. And there it says, which one do we give preference to, learning or action? And the bottom line is learning, because learning must lead to action. And I think in most cases, it probably does. And then there's a second text that we learned, which is from the book of Proverbs in the Bible. And it teaches, teach a child in the right way so that when they're old, they won't depart from it. Both of these texts remind me of the case of Rabbi Hillel the Elder. He wasn't always a rabbi. He was once a young married man who was a day laborer, really poor, living in the land of Israel. And the story is recounted in the Talmud. He used to go and earn a day wage, and that was enough money to cover his expenses for his family and to gain entrance into the study hall, the Beit Midrash. Except for one day, he was unable to find work. And unable to find work, he couldn't pay the fee to enter the house of learning. And the guard at the front door kept him away. Well, he refused to really be kicked out, so he climbed on up to the roof of the building, and he laid down with his ear to the skylight, and he listened in to that day's debates. He was stuck there, mesmerized and really taken in by the conversation, but extremely cold. And it started to snow, and he refused to move from there, and it snowed all night. And in the morning, through the light that was peeking through on that skylight, the rabbis looked up and saw his body laying on the skylight, and they climbed up to the roof. They pulled him down, and even though it was the Sabbath, they lit a fire in order to warm his body. It was on that day that it was determined there would no longer be a guard at the door to the study hall. And because of that, they had to add so many more benches because education became available to all. I take from this story that as Jews, we value education and that we do everything to remove barriers to education. And so I encourage you, take advantage of every opportunity you're given to learn more about our tradition. And if you see any barriers to education, break them down. That's the Jewish way.